Good afternoon and welcome to the Entrepreneurs Live Show. I'm David Dorfling, your host, and today we've got an awesome friend and awesome guest that has joined us. We've got Mr. Steve Skura all the way from the United States, correct, Steve?
Yes, yes, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Awesome. Atlanta, Georgia, of all places. Oh man, awesome. Welcome to the show. It's such an honor and such a pleasure to have you here, my friend.
Thank you, likewise.
Awesome, awesome. Now, Steve, I would love to start it off by asking you, who is Steve Skura? Where do you come
Yeah,
from, and what do you do?
I love that question. Yeah, so I'm American. My parents moved here in the early 1900s from Europe, and I grew up in the Midwest, close to Canada, actually. And I was born at the end of the 70s. Grew up in the 80s and 90s before all the technology we had today. And something that I've always just loved growing up was reading, and I just read everything I get my hands on. I grew up reading comic books, magazines, newspapers, books, and that's kind of propelled some of the passions I have for some of the startups that I've recently begun in the U.S. And it was a large part of my upbringing, reading different publications. So, and what I
Oh
do,
man, that's awesome.
yeah, so what I do, the last 20 years, my education's in business and marketing, and I've worked for some #1 brands over the last 20 years. I've also worked for some really interesting startups and used all of that experience to grow those businesses. And right now I'm involved in 2 startups. So.
Oh wow, that is quite cool. So you come from a background of sales and marketing. You've got a passion for reading, and that actually explains why you're involved in a magazine at the moment.
Yes.
That is quite cool, Steve. I love it. I love it. I love it. Please tell us a little bit about your current project, because I remember meeting you a couple of weeks back and you shared your story, and I remember writing in my little book, like big, need to speak to Steve Skura because we the same. So please introduce your magazine to us and share with the people this amazingness that you've got there, because the difference is, people, I want you to listen to this. We do entrepreneurs. Steve brings the people that is absolutely innovative and absolutely creative. This man is a legend. Steve, the floor is yours. Introduce your magazine, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. So, I started my magazine actually during COVID this last year, and most of our interviews have been over the phone. But my passion really behind this magazine has been kind of a dissatisfaction with the current state of media. A lot of the stories are very negative, and they don't provide. They're good at outlining the problem, but they don't provide a lot of solutions. So I wanted to make a magazine that focused on being positive, providing solutions, and covering a lot of the innovative, creative, awesome stuff that startups are doing in the startup world. So I created my magazine, Digital Unicorn. And the reason I named it was because, in the startup world, a unicorn means that your startup's worth $1 billion. And, we're in the digital era, but also a unicorn is a very imaginative, dreamy kind of fantasy figure. And I wanted this magazine to have a lot of creativity and cover really interesting stories that aren't being covered in the current media. So my magazine has been a really exciting project. We've published 3 issues so far. The first one was on sustainability. Each issue is a different topic, so we're able to cover a lot of different topics and people cover varying interests. So the first issue was on sustainability. The second one was on automation, and the last one was on esports and entertainment, which has become a very popular topic.
Ooh.
And we're covering healthcare now for January. So.
Good heavens, that's like completely different. It's not even in the same fields, but I must say, if I have to select anything that you're writing about, your previous one about electronic sports, That's got my attention. And we're going to talk about that just now because that's something I actually quite like. And it drew my attention a couple of years ago. Someone introduced me to these electronic sports, and I thought to myself, what, how, where, and look where we're today. Awesome, Steve. Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Please go on.
Oh yeah. So we basically it's a quarterly magazine. We cover, basically we'll cover 4 topics in 2021. The first 3 issues last year were all free on issue, which is issuu.com. However, we're switching
Awesome
to a paid
platform.
model this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I like what you're doing because it's not like the normal. And as you've noticed, what I do also is it's not the normal. Being normal doesn't fit into our portfolio. That will never work. So,
Exactly.
Steve, yeah, it is. It is. And Steve, I'm going to have to ask you this because, like I said to you, you tickled my fancy there talking about electronic sports and stuff. Tell us a little bit about it. I would really like to know more about what you guys were writing about. Unfortunately, I haven't read your magazine as yet. You must please
Oh yeah.
send me it. I would absolutely love it. And
Yeah. It's a
yeah,
very interesting topic, and there's a lot of venture capital that's been going into esports past 3 to 5 years. There's a lot of different areas, right? There's the video games themselves. There's the competitions. There's also
competitions.
the education aspect, because you have now a lot of leagues for like high schools and K through 12.
I would.
But one of the biggest things I learned, speaking to a lot of these universities and people in the esports world, was that it's a great way for these students to basically learn leadership skills because they become coaches within the team.
That
They
is so
have,
cool.
yeah, they have positions at the university where they help the esports teams and the programs. So there's actually a lot of leadership
What?
experience that these students are gaining from the esports industry.
Wow. Okay. Now, I have to just stop you there for 1 second.
Mhm.
That is something I honestly didn't know, Steve. Like I said, I knew about the games and everything like that and some of the activities involved there, but competitions and tournaments, that is something new to me. Can you give us a little bit more info on that, if you don't mind?
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm blown away with that.
So yeah, the top games that are played in the world, they have some of the biggest competitions, and you can win prize money. So at a professional level,
Wow.
there's the top athletes are making, sometimes millions of dollars competing. There's a few games that are popular that are individual, but most of them are team sports. Around 5 players per team, and yeah. So on the professional level, you can make a lot of money, but also there's also the academic level. So you've got different colleges now have their own esports programs, and they're competing in these tournaments as well against other universities.
Wow.
And then it even extends, like I said, down to K through 12, where they're learning um, how to develop these teams and coach other players. And yeah, that as far as the people that are going into esports, it's all backgrounds. You have science students, you have computer science people,
No
you
way.
have, yeah, you have business people. It's a wide variety of backgrounds.
Wow. Okay. Well, I have to ask this because I'm looking at something now, and I completely missed a picture on electronic gaming and or electronic sports. I'm trying to figure out something, and you need to help me here now. You're
Sure.
talking about athletes. I'm sounding stupid here because I am stupid,
No, not at
but
all.
please, you really need to break this down for me. Athletes in electronic sports. How does that work? Do you literally go like and plug them into the computer and say, run?
Yeah, so it's interesting. Like it's not just playing the game well. They have to play the game well as a team. And then they also, just
Oh,
like in football or soccer, you review tape. They actually review gameplay and develop new
wow.
strategies to win the game. Yeah, so it's more than just sitting in front of a computer and playing the game over and over again to practice. There's team elements, and then there's also other aspects where they try and improve their performance as a team.
So literally, like for instance, in South Africa, we've got rugby and those kind of things. You literally have to manage a team on those kind of things.
Yes, they have coaches. They've got the five starting players. They've got backup players, and then there's also all the other people in the program that, for example, most of these schools that I interviewed, they have an arena for the esports program, and there's different jobs at the arena that these people in the program can
Wow.
have to help the program. And then there's also a revenue aspect that the school makes, if they win a tournament, or they also have ticket revenue for these tournaments in their arena.
Okay, I am blown away. I honestly didn't notice. So no wonder he's saying it's such a big industry at the moment. I was just quickly while we're talking, I was just looking into because obviously I like to know what you're talking about, and I'm like, they're talking about $1 billion industry, and I'm like, come
Yeah.
on, games. Well, they're not talking about a billion; they're talking more. But
Hmm.
amazing! It's wow.
Yeah,
Um,
and if you look at specific countries like South Korea, for example,
I
they've
just
had
saw that.
they actually have an esports degree, and you can actually get a degree, I believe, in League of Legends, which is one of the most popular games in the world.
What?
They've had that for a long time. They're kind of ahead of a lot of other countries in esports, but in the U.S. even they've already built 3 arenas that are just for esports, so they can hold tournaments
What?
there. Yeah.
Sorry if I say that a lot, but you know, I knew it was going to get my attention, but I was not expecting this, Steve. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this and watching us at the moment, see, this is the beautiful part. Steve and myself do this same kind of work, but look at the different fields. I know about this field, but I'm blown away. I literally feel like I'm going to school at the moment, and I love it because I remember from our time as kids, Stephen, you can maybe agree with me on this also.
Mhm.
We grew up in a time where there was Atari and the Sega
Exactly.
systems and those things. We played at home with your friends.
Yep.
There wasn't an arena at school for us. And if you played games, you were called a geek. So this is cool. I am, my friend, I am blown away. I love this. Please share with us more about this. If you don't mind, I'm just going to open up for the people to send us messages. Telephone
Sure.
number 076 058 4796. Steve will gladly answer questions if he can. He's the editor of a
Certainly.
most amazing magazine, and I love the name, Digital Unicorn. Come on, who's not going to love that name? And we're talking about esports at the moment. Come on, throw in a few questions for us. Let's have a good laugh about this. And not just that, let's look into it. South Africa, we way behind. Wake up. It's time to look into this kind of thing. It's fun, and apparently you can make good money out of this. Steve, the
Yeah.
floor is yours, my friend.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. There's a large money potential, obviously, but yeah, it really learned a lot. I really learned a lot in interviewing directors at different universities and
Amazing.
understanding all the leadership skills that these students were gaining. It's probably a stereotype that some gamers are introverts, but when they're in these programs, they get to become coaches and
Far from it.
grow all those communication skills and leadership skills and compete like an athlete, nationally and sometimes on the world stage. So it's really those
What?
programs they're growing fast in the US, and it's a great opportunity for students here.
Okay, so you're telling me not just as in countries, but they're actually competing on an international level also with each other.
Yeah, yes, there's the pro tournaments. It just depends like which ones you sign up for. And they all have, most of them have prize money.
Okay, that is quite cool. My question, this is not from somebody, but it's my question. What is the sports that they're currently playing, Steve? Obviously football.
Hmm.
What else
Yeah,
is
in the
there?
U.S. at the college level, I mean, when you talk about other sports, or you mean video games or actual?
No, the electronic sports that they're doing.
Oh, okay. So yeah, League of Legends is big. I believe there's a game called Super Smash Brothers, which is really popular. Um,
That sounds
Star,
fun.
yeah, StarCraft has been. It's an older game, but it's one of the popular strategy games. And then there's all the sports games. You can play FIFA or Madden, which is
Oh,
American football. They have tournaments for those as well.
that sounds fun.
Hmm.
Okay, that's cool. Sorry, this is very intriguing for me, my friend. Now, while we wait for other people to come in, your previous issues, your other previous issues,
Hmm.
which just repeat that subject for me there, because while
Sure.
you were
Yeah.
talking, there's one that caught my attention, and I just want to make sure if I heard correctly.
Sustainability and automation.
Okay, both I like. Let's talk a little bit about automation. Sorry, my friend, that's this is something that I'm very intrigued in because in the age that we're living, we're working with systems that's currently being pushed into automation, going into that direction, and also it's a good subject I think personally to be touching in COVID because we're not really allowed to be the normal factory sizes. We're not in
Hmm.
business the normal situation. I don't know what your situation like now in the United States at the moment, but like with us, we're going into Christmas, and we just heard that even with us staying next to the beaches, we're not allowed to go to the beaches this year.
Oh, geez.
First Christmas in my life, and they're like, naughty, 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 no beach, beachy. So, um, yeah, it's quite frustrating because our economy locally depends so much on the people coming on holiday, going to the beach, getting extremely hot, coming into the centers, buying things, enjoying the food, those kind of things. It's a difficult situation, but again, I went slightly off there, but going in automation, I would love to hear your opinion on it. First of all,
Sure.
how
Yeah,
you
no,
feel about it.
yeah, and to your point, yeah, it's been a very challenging year managing, the potential risks of coronavirus and everything. And a lot of companies, they do have shortages of labor right now too, the ones that are open.
I saw that, yeah.
And automation, has people always get scared of automation, but what I uncovered in my research for that issue was that so far automation has been a net job gain for us. The number of jobs lost versus the number of jobs gained by building robots and other automations in factories and so forth. So far, it's been a net gain for us. Um, there's it's a very fine line though, which jobs can be replaced by automation. And if you think about it, you could replace every job by automation. You could have an AI computer running companies. So I mean, it's like what how much automation is too much. So I think right now though, we've seen a net gain, and it's actually been a positive for productivity. And a lot of people have retrained themselves for new technology jobs. But it's that was a very interesting article or issue for me to write on and talk about and build the content strategy for.
I want to ask you something about it. Talking now about the AI systems coming into place, and not just that, but a lot of places implementing robots.
Mhm.
How did how did the people react when you were speaking to them? Is it mostly that people are open to it, or are you seeing a lot of people saying, "Ah, no, the robots is going to catch us, Terminator styles coming"? How's the feeling in that? Because to be honest with you, I've been too scared to touch that subject because here in South Africa, what we've seen over the last couple of months with COVID, a lot of the factories, like even Toyota, that's manufacturing, and so many big factories have retrenched people. And we're talking about, I think in South Africa, a 30% or 33% job loss just this year. That's massive. And I just want to know how the people are feeling that side, or the people. I'm not sure if you're just speaking to people in America, but how's the reaction for you regarding that?
Yeah, I think it varies. If you're obviously if you're in a factory and your position's being replaced by automation, it's a huge loss for you and your family. And you have a lot of stories of towns where either they switched to automation or the factory closed for another, for a new option in their supply chain, and it's devastating for some towns. But there are new jobs in manufacturing coming online. There's still a demand for manufacturing workers that have a little bit of technology training to oversee some of these automation processes and service the
Okay, okay,
robots.
that's
Yeah,
good
so
news.
I think, obviously this year has been tough because of coronavirus. I think every industry suffered, but if that's not every industry that's traditional has suffered. Some of the technology companies have done really well, but traditional businesses have had a hard time this year.
Yeah, no, I've seen that. You know, I really feel sorry for the people at the moment that's involved in where manufacturing is, because the ports are closed, exports can't happen the way they should happen. I spoke to somebody about 4 months ago. It was actually for an interview for something completely different. And as we were speaking, he started speaking about his brother working in one of his factories. And his brother is like the sales manager for this group. And what happened with him is they couldn't complete sales on time because of COVID, with the whole borderline closed off and everything. And the sales went back. I mean, some of the things they were selling is multi-million rand projects, and it was just cancelled.
Oh,
And all of a
geez.
sudden, the business turns around and told him it's your fault. Like he planned at COVID. And end of the day, I know he lost his job, which is extremely sad for me. I really don't think you can blame him.
Mhm.
And afterwards, I spoke to him, and he just said to me, you know what? He's glad that happened to him because that gave him the opportunity to become an entrepreneur. He took his knowledge that he's got for years and years working at this place, and he picked himself up and he started his business. And actual fact, I spoke to him yesterday, and he said to me, you know what? I'm doing good. I'm more relaxed. I've got more time. I'm spending time with my family. I'm earning more, and I'm not stressed as half as I used to be. I said to him, but I want to ask you the most important thing, and that is, how's your working hours now? I said, well, I'm working similar hours, but I'm sitting in front of my family. I'm seeing my child running around in front of me. That I won't have at the factory where I was working, because I only saw them weekends and it was for a couple of hours. So
Oh,
that's the
geez.
cool part. Let me just quickly have a look here if we've got any messages from Facebook. Sorry, I apologize. I see the signal's very bad today. So I have to apologize. Even this morning, I was busy writing an article on doing placements for our new magazine coming up. And unfortunately, the signal was so bad. I was sitting and I'm like, okay, when you decide to send, I'll be happy. Just send it. So yeah, just quickly checking. Okay, no messages as yet. So Steve, your upcoming magazine, when is that
Mhm.
going to be released?
Sure. It'll probably be middle of January, and that'll be for the first quarter, and it's going to be covering healthcare.
Oh, that's an awesome subject. Um, you're in your healthcare. That's yeah. Again, I tip my hat to you, my friend. You're
Thank
going
you.
into a subject where people at the moment literally will get respect for the front line, because you know, we're working with so many medical people. We are not working with them, but seeing them, doctors putting their life on the line, going into the situation. You know,
Mhm.
a couple of months ago, me and my wife were watching an interview that they had with a doctor, and I feel sorry for them. You know, at the moment, it's blisters on them because they're constantly on their feet. And when they're working with those COVID patients at the moment, they don't know if they're going to walk out of there. So, wow. But yeah, tell us more. What are you going to cover in this issue? Not, I know it's medical, but I want to get the insight about it.
Sure, yeah. So this issue is going to cover a lot, like a wide range of healthcare topics. Obviously, we're going to talk about the vaccines that are coming, because that's
Ooh,
obviously on the top of everyone's mind. There's what I've learned is there's three different platforms they use to make these vaccines that are going to be available soon, and it's very interesting the technology behind each of those, and that'll be in the issue. Also, we covered some interesting topics like there's a startup. I don't know if you have any pets, but I have a dog, and there's a startup called Fi Smart Tracker, and it's a collar that you put on your pet, um, typically a dog, and what it'll do is it'll actually track the exercise they're getting. If they get lost, you'll be able to find them via
ooh,
GPS. Yeah, it's all digital. You just recharge the
wow.
collar every day, and yeah, that's an interesting technology, I thought. And also, we cover some new technologies in AI that are helping people in the healthcare field, um, in the insurance industry, and some potential things that could help uh, with medical costs. So we cover a wide range of topics in this issue within healthcare.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. Now I'm going to ask a question that I know I'm going to get crucified for. And I'm going to ask it. That collar, is it big enough to like, you know, put on kitties?
Put on cats.
No, no,
Um,
no, 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 no. Like your children.
oh, kids. Put on kids. I guess you could. The actual device is the size of like a Apple Watch, and then it's got a collar, around it that
Whoa.
snaps on. It's pretty small. Yeah.
I won't talk loud now, but I think I'll put it on my in-laws.
Get a heads up when they're
I'm
coming
just
over.
kidding. You know, it's a good warning sign. Nah, it's cool. I love it. You know, talking about medical, I had an interview with a lady that's working in South Africa in the medical industry, and they introduced this platform to me the other day. I was amazed how people have evolved in South Africa. I don't know how it is with you guys in America, but we've got a little bit of an issue with the, I won't say it's the issue, but the doctors and stuff don't travel so much to patients' homes anymore, you know, like the good old days. So with COVID, also the doctors want to be safe because a problem in South Africa is our doctors' rooms is normally very small. So when I'm talking small, they normally fit in 20 people into a room and you look like little sardines packed like this.
Oh wow.
And it's a problem because we actually sitting with an issue where you just don't know if you're going to pick up the virus if you go. So I was introduced because even with my illness that I've got, I can't really go out to people. So they introduced me to this platform where it's like what we're doing now. It's not Zoom, but I've
Hmm.
got like this whole meeting room where you can connect with your health professional, HD video quality and everything. And you go like, and everything with the doctor, and they're treating you at your home. So I
Yeah.
like it. You're
Yeah, it's
really
called
touching subject. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. It's called telemedicine, and
Yes.
it's yeah, we have it in the U.S. as well.
Wow.
In this issue of my magazine, we're covering at a rural level because now you're seeing a lot of companies try and
Wow.
use it to help people in developing countries that might be in a rural area that don't even have access to a hospital at all.
I like
Um,
that idea.
yeah.
Yeah, you see, this is what I like at the moment about the whole situation. A lot of people are complaining and saying, oh, but this and this and this. Personally, for me, COVID has been one of the most awesome creation periods. It depends on how you want to see it, but again, an entrepreneur, somebody that is going to make a difference. So we're constantly looking for something. Look at both of us, Steve. Both of us started a magazine in a time where people said, "Are you crazy?" And I said to them, "Yes, I am. Believe me, I
Exactly.
am. But I love it." And this is what we need: innovation. Um, this is the next Tesla. This is the next Bill Gates. This is the next us.
Mhm.
So I am extremely pleased about it. And people keep on telling me, but don't tell people you need to be excited about COVID. I said to them, no, you're misunderstanding. I'm not excited about COVID. I'm excited about the opportunities that are presenting because this is where people are made. So yeah, sorry, I interfered when you were saying something. I apologize.
Oh, not at all. No, you didn't. Yeah, no, that was a great thought. I agree. I think, coronavirus, it's been horrible this year, but we have it
Hello, Steve.
it's we have gotten some interesting um back to esports real quick, because my wife, she's Korean and she's a really big BTS fan. And one thing from coronavirus is virtual concerts have gone up. And
Mm,
I don't know if you've heard about this at all, but they had almost 1 million people um, watch their live stream of their last concert.
what? How did they
Yeah,
do that?
yeah, over a
How
million
on earth
people.
did they do it?
Yeah,
Wow,
so
wow,
virtual
wow.
concerts has come along this last year. And one interesting thing that technology's done is the tickets are much less because there's so many more people that can buy a ticket.
Can it be?
So you have people that might not have been able to see the band or whatever particular band it is, and now they get to see it inexpensively. And then also the band makes even more money, but they're able to offer lower prices.
I just wanted to say that, Steve, because now thinking of that, and people, you need to listen to this. This is awesome advice Steve is giving us here. I mean, a million people at a concert, it's a digital concert. First of all, you don't have drunk people pushing you around. You don't have traffic jams. You don't have to worry about your car. You don't have to worry about it, even though it's fun. All those things are fun.
Hmm.
Um, you watching it with your family at home, and you can decide by putting it onto the TV, watching on computer, watching on your phone. Wow,
Yeah.
we're doing it wrong. Hmm,
I mean,
opportunity.
obviously, you can't replace going to a live concert. That'll be, still
It's
a wonderful
amazing.
experience in the future. But it's these virtual concerts are kind of a fun new
I can,
innovation. And they're, yeah.
yeah, I can just imagine. uh, Think of somebody like Mick Jagger. He's used to ladies throwing weird stuff at him. Now nobody's throwing nothing at him. So it takes away a little bit of the fun out of it, but still, it's amazing. It's truly, truly, truly amazing. Now, Steve, I see my signal isn't very stable at the moment,
Mhm.
so just before the internet just might decide, because we're staying in South Africa, the land of beautiful opportunity and internet problems. So
That's okay.
before
It's
we
been good
go,
on my side so far.
yeah,
You're coming through
before we
good.
go, I would really love it if you can share your details of us. Where can people find you? Where can they read about your magazine? Where can I actually go and read it? And not just that, you know, even though we're in South Africa, it's international space. There might be people interested in advertising your next magazine or even future wise. So let's share the details so that people can connect with you. And
Yes.
I can't wait to read your previous one. Please do me a favor. When we finish, please send me the link. I need to go and read about it. It's
I'll
going to
do
be
that.
awesome.
I'll do that. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. Um, yeah. So if you want to read the first 3 issues, which I highly recommend, they're free. They're on issuu.com, issuu.com. So my 3 first issues are on there. And then if you enjoy that, please go to my website at www.digitalunicornmag.com, and you can subscribe digitally. Right now I have a 20% off coupon. The code is Christmas20, and it's $16 for the next 4 issues. So you can
deal.
Join us on this journey.
Love it, Steve. I love it. I love it. I love it. What I'm going to ask you is, I've already tagged you on Facebook and LinkedIn. Please do me a favor. Go and drop those links and information to us in the comment section so that people can connect with you and everything. I'll be one of your subscribers. I can promise you that, because I love what you're doing. It's really amazing. And you know what? We magazine, we need to stand together.
That's right. That's right.
We've got our own little clique here. So, no, my friend, it's going to be quite awesome. And, I really appreciate your time. I know how busy you are, and I know what you put into a magazine. We're busy launching our 6th issue at the moment, and I can't wait for it to be finished so I can get a couple of days rest before we start with issue 7.
That's wonderful. Yeah, it's great when you love what you're doing.
It is, a lot of people, and I want to give this advice to the people out there also. A lot of people ask me, why a magazine of all things? And I said to them, well, it's the next logical thing for me. And they asked me, like, why? I said, no, it's not logical. It's far from logical. I'm a graphic designer. I design websites. I design those kind of things for people. But magazines has been in it, because one of my very first projects when I just got out of college was Cinema Novel magazine for Ster-Pinnacle. And that was hard work, because coming out as a freshman basically, and you stepping into your first role as a graphic designer, and they tell you, make us a 120-page magazine. I'm like, make me what? I had to figure it out. That time there wasn't all this info like we have now on Google. So I literally had to go and look for a magazine similar to what I was looking for. I remember buying this expensive magazine and breaking it apart to see how the pages fit together, because at that stage it wasn't digital, it was all printed media.
Oh, I imagine, yeah.
And I had to figure out, if I want to have that page print, I need to have it on that page back and that page forward, and it was fun. So again, even though it's digital, Steve, you will know this, there's still a lot of planning. People just don't realize what we put into it.
There's so much that goes into it.
Yeah, your cover, your index, your back, your content, and the best thing of all, getting appointments with interviewees, and they don't pitch up. So we've got that many times. Anyway, I see my signal keeps on warning me it's going to drop off. So I apologize that we're not going to go to full hour, my friend. But if it goes like this, it's going to drop off soon.
Oh, no problem.
I really appreciate your time that you've given me. It was amazing. Steve, it's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate the time you've given me on your podcast. And thanks for listening, everyone. And have a great week.
Yeah, awesome, man. We really appreciate you. And Merry Christmas to you. We're getting close to Christmas. So if I don't speak to you before that, which I doubt, I know I will. But just in case, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, my friend. May this next issue be amazing for you. You are offering people amazing product at an amazing price. When you just said to me $16 for 4 issues, I'm like, good heavens, that's $4 an issue. That is so cheap. I'm not sure what your price is there, but let's compare it. That's about the price of one McDonald's meal.
A cup of coffee, yeah.
If I'm right. Or a cup. No, coffee can't be that expensive. Please don't.
Well, if you go to Starbucks.
What? Just out of curiosity, how much is a coffee at Starbucks?
When I go there, it's $4 or $5. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not coming to visit you. I promise you that. It's like $4 to $5. We're talking about around about 80 rand in South Africa. That's like 3 cappuccinos here.
Oh my gosh.
Good heavens. I'm staying here. See people, South Africa's good.
Well, Merry Christmas and Happy New
Awesome,
Year
man.
as
Awesome.
well. And thanks again for having me
Oh,
on.
thanks, my friend.
All right, bye.
Awesome. And listeners and viewers, we will see you tomorrow for another awesome interview. This was Steve Skura. He's going to drop his details for you in the comments on LinkedIn as well as Facebook. Go and connect with him. Digital Unicorn is amazing. This is the way to go. Go and find him. Steve, have a beautiful evening. See you soon.
You too.